and went to 2-11 early in the season, and that's because they didn't have these guys. And Tulo got off to a slow start. They've had some other injuries in the rotation, but when you have them both in the lineup, it makes it a lot more difficult for the A's and Sean Manaea tonight.
And the Blue Jays were without Jay Happ, the left-hander, a 20-game winner last year. He's off the disabled list, and he will pitch tonight. Happ is looking for his third, or make that his first win of the year. He's a pretty good left-hander and always pitches well against the Athletics. So game one of the three-game series is coming up next. We'll have lineups and first pitch. It's the A's and the Blue Jays. Stick around. Yep.
All right.
With nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new sweet or spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich. Limited time only.
So here come the Athletics, and we're set for baseball. Game one of this three-game series against the powerful Toronto Blue Jays. Game time weather for tonight is presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily. 68 degrees with a decent little breeze tonight, but a very comfortable night for baseball. Not going to be a huge crowd tonight. See a fair amount of blue jerseys over the first base dugout, so there's some Blue Jays fans here. Starting lineup tonight for the Jays, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and here it is. Kevin Pillar will lead off in center. Then Donaldson, Batista, Morales, Smoke, Tulowitzki, so a very powerful middle of the lineup for the Blue Jays. Russell Martin hits 7th, Darwin Barney hits 8th, and Ezekiel Carrera hits 9th.
And Sean Manaea making the start tonight. You see on the 9 starts, 4-3 record, 3.91 ERA. Things have been much better in his last 3 starts, going 3-0 over that time.
Defensively for the Athletics, Davis, and Canna in the outfield. Plouffe, Pinder, Lowry, and Alonso third to first with Josh Begley behind the plate. So here comes Kevin Pillar, and we're set for baseball. Mark Canna will fight that sun for the first inning anyways. So Sean Manaea looking for his 5th win of the year. So here's Pilar hitting .270 with 7 home runs. He has 13 RBIs, 13 doubles, and a triple for Pilar. And the first pitch of the game from Manaea is
Watches.com 707.
So we talked about it in the open of our show, Mark, with Sean Manaea having just walked 2 in his last 14 innings. That's covering his last 2 starts. And I think if he's at anywhere around the plate, I mean, he's tough.
He really is. He needs to go after guys. Attack them.
Jerry Davis, who's the crew chief and the home plate umpire tonight. 2-1 the count. Only see one left-handed hitter in the lineup, Ezekiel Carrera. Of course, Manaea very tough on left-handers.
Well, we talked about his aggressiveness and how he's been better. And for me, it all goes back to that Seattle start on May 15th, where he walked 5 guys. As you said, just 2 walks since.
So 3-2. There's the lefties. 2 for 37 against Manaea. That's a .054 batting average. Right-handers just .213. So overall a .179 average against for Sean Manaea. So stuff is not easy to hit. Tonight, any 95-mile-per-hour fastball is our fast pitch, brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go. So another 3-2. Sliced foul. There's John Gibbons trying to get his team healthy. They're playing pretty good baseball right now. They're a game under 500 overall. They're 28-29. Got off to a very slow start. Playing much better now. Hard slider, and he did not go, and it's a walk.
Well, very good at bat here from Pilar. And Manaea goes with that slider inside. You can see Pilar able to check his swing. It's a tough pitch to lay off after you've seen so many fastballs, foul them off, but able to draw the walk.
So nice little cheer for Josh Donaldson as he steps in for his first at bat. Donaldson hitting .279 with 6 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Just his 18th game. And he rips one to left. That's a base hit, and that's going to be more as it goes all the way to the wall. Pilar rounds third. He's going to be waved home, and he will score. And 2 batters into the game, the Blue Jays lead 1-0. So Donaldson with an RBI.
Well, Donaldson jumps all over the first pitch heater, trying to go down and away, misses inside. Donaldson being very aggressive. The ball hit down the left field line, and Pilar kind of took advantage of Chris Davis. He came up, doesn't have the strongest arm, but you can see he misses Pinder on the cutoff. And by then, if he would have hit Pinder, there might have been a chance for a throw, but by overthrowing him, it one-hops Lowry, and by then it was too late.
The pitchcast is brought to you by Penn Fed Credit Union. So here's Jose Bautista. Donaldson picks up his 11th RBI of the year.
And here's what I mean. You can see the throw. If he hits Pinder right away, Pinder might be able to turn and make a strong throw to home. You got to get it to that guy as quick as you can, but by overthrowing him, there's just not enough time.
2-0 to Bautista. Bautista at .238, 10 home runs, 28 runs batted in. Kendrys Morales to follow. And that one is skied foul. Headed back behind the A's bullpen. And into the first row. Easy souvenir for somebody down there. Blue Jays had a tough month of April. They were 8-17 in April, but turned it around in May. 18-10 in the month of May, and they're right in contention, just 5.5 games back in the East. East is wide open.
Well, we talked about the start. About the start they got off to, just a 1-9, 2-11.
Yep.
If you're going to get off to a start like that, do it early. And I know you'd think, well, it doesn't really matter. Well, it does. You have a lot more time to gain that ground, which they have clearly already done. And I get it, they're in last place, but that's just 5 games with 2/3 of the season to go.
Pinder has it. Pinder throws. Wide throw. Did Alonso tag him? He missed him the first time, got him the second time. Batista tried to scurry back to the bag, could not quite do it. So yonder Alonso had to come way off the bag.
Well, the ground ball to Pinder, and he just kind of gets underneath it. Watch his arm angle. His arm just drops a little bit, and that's why it sails on him. And yonder goes for the tag. Batista able to get out of the way, but I'm almost surprised yonder didn't just touch the bag. Instead of going after Batista again, trying to tag him, all he's got to do is just step on the bag, and he would have been out.
Exmo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. So here's Kendrys Morales, the cleanup hitter, with 1 out. I remember a couple years ago, the Blue Jays, they really didn't get rolling until the last couple months, and then they got so hot nobody could beat them.
Yep.
Worked their way right into the postseason. That was 2 years ago. Morales pops a foul back. Last year the Blue Jays were 89-73. They finished 4 games back in the East, but they were the #1 wild card team. That's all you need, just get in. Justin Smoke is the on-deck hitter. Swing and a miss, 1-2. They won the wild card game at home, 5-2 in 11 innings. That's when Edwin Encarnacion hit the 3-run homer in the bottom of the 11th. That was the Zach Britton game.
Yep.
Or lack of Zach Britton.
Yeah. Unusual for him.
Yeah. Swing and a miss. Good fastball. Kendrys Morales strikes out for the 2nd out.
Well, after Pilar and Donaldson, Manaya's settled down a little bit, had a little better command. You see that fastball following up that slider up in the zone that Morales swung and missed at. That ball's by him with that fastball coming out of the same slot as the previous slider.
So 2 away, and here's Justin Smoke. Smoke having a very fine season. Swing and a miss. Smoke had 14 home runs, 39 RBIs, and a .283 batting average. Smoke rolls it foul. So to finish up the rest of the postseason for the Blue Jays, they won that wild card game, and then in the division series they swept the Texas Rangers in 3 games. Went on to the American League Championship Series and lost to the Indians in 5 games. They were rolling along, but they got to that championship series and their offense kind of shut down. The Indians pitching just shut them down. And the Indians went on to the World Series. So the Rangers, or the Blue Jays, got close last year.
Well, you hear it all the time. Good pitching beats good hitting.
Yeah, that was the
That's
case
kind of
in
what
that
happened
series.
in that series.
Big time. So 2 straight years of losing in the American League Championship Series. They lost to the Royals in 2015, the Indians last year. But 2 trips to the postseason. 0-2 to Smoke. Just got a piece of it. Remember, they had gone 21 straight years without a trip to the postseason, and that changed in 2015. Try to do it for the 3rd year in a row. Jays fans sporting the blue and gray and white. The 23rd pitch coming up from Manaea here in the 1st inning, so he's had a little extra work. It was a Donaldson double that scored Pilar, who walked, so the leadoff walk comes back to hurt Sean Manaea.
And a good at bat from Smoke so far, falling off a lot of tough pitches, elevated fastballs, sliders down and in. We haven't seen Manaea go to that changeup yet.
Just missed. Maybe bent around the plate a little bit. See how close it was.
Well, a good slider. Just not sure it came back quite enough.
Ooh.
According to that, it did.
Would have been the ultimate pitcher's pitch.
Yep.
Smoke chases, and that's a strikeout. A couple strikeouts for Manaea, but the Blue Jays do get a run on the Donaldson double. 1-0 Toronto. Davis, Pinder, Lowry, Davis, Alonso, Healy, Plouffe, Canna, Begley. Healy's a hot hitter. Keep an eye on him.
And Jay Happ making his 5th start of the season. Spent a little time on the DL with an elbow issue. This is his 2nd start since coming off the DL, and still a 0-3 record after a 20-4 season last year.
How about that? Carrera, Pilar, Batista in the outfield for the Blue Jays. Donaldson, Tulowitzki, Barney, and Smoke on the infield. And Russell Martin is the catcher. Yeah, Happ a 20-game winner. 20-4. Well, you know what it's like to be a 20-game winner. Not easy to do.
Yeah, but I don't know what it's like to have a 20-4 record, though. That's pretty good.
Didn't miss a start. 195 innings last year. So that is what's up against the Athletics, although, as Mark just said, Happ this year does not have a win. This is his 5th start. Chop to Tulowitzki. Throws across, and they just got Rajai Davis. So there's the numbers from last year. His ERA was 3.18. But look at the difference in his first 9 seasons. He was 62 and 61. Now, he's always been a decent pitcher. But last year, just one of those years where he pitched well, got good run support, and everything fell into place. And he's got a 20-win season on his resume.
Yeah, they scored a lot of runs for him, but you know, pitching in Toronto, that's a hitter's ballpark. The ball flies. So I get it. He might have had some early leads, and maybe that helped with some wins. But the 3.18 ERA, that still shows you how good he was last year.
Here's Chad Pinder. And Pinder with a line drive, reaching out and grabbing it is Darwin Barney. Nice play by Barney for the second out.
Well, those balls hit hard. A fastball down and away, and Pinder just goes with it. You can see Barney gets a good jump.
Batting in the third position.
And makes a nice catch. Full extension. That's 2 quick outs for Happ.
Got a Gold Glove back in 2012. Darwin Barney. First pitch to Lowry is a strike. Now Happ has always pitched extremely well against the Athletics, so the A's have seen him at his best. He made 2 starts against them last year, beat him once, got a no decision. He has never lost to the Athletics, and he has a nice 3-up, 3-down inning in the first. Second inning coming up. It's the Blue Jays 1 and the A's nothing.
Batting in the sixth position, shortstop, number 2, Troy Tulowitzki.
MLB.TV. Every night, every device. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live. Plus, get a free subscription to AppBat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Tulowitzki to lead it off, followed by Russell Martin and Darwin Barney. Tulowitzki takes a first pitch strike. Tulowitzki at 241, couple of home runs, 14 RBIs. This is his 25th game. And he rips one headed for the left field corner, and that's fair. Tulowitzki hits the bag at first. He'll ease into second with a leadoff double. So that's how the top of the second starts. And with that, let's check in with Angela.
Guys, I spoke to Mark Hanna earlier in the clubhouse, and he was looking a lot better than he did than on Sunday. Yesterday morning, he was hitting in the cage when he fell ill with a stomach bug, so he was a late scratch yesterday. But he said it actually started on Saturday, but he played through it when he felt woozy. And he's going to see a GI specialist tomorrow, but right now it looks like he's doing all right. Guys, back to you.
All right, he was in the lineup yesterday, but then he wasn't feeling well, was replaced in the lineup. Chris Davis was going to get the day off. Davis ended up getting back in there, and he had a very good game. Here's Russell Martin. Martin hitting in the 7th spot for the Blue Jays. 243 with 5 home runs, 11 RBIs. Martin has not played in a little bit. He's missed the last 4 games. A little bit of a sore neck, so he has sat out. Feeling better and back in there today. Blue Jays on their disabled list, they have Aaron Sanchez, their very fine starting pitcher's got a blister, but he's in the process of rehab assignment right now, so he should be back fairly soon. J.P. Howell, their left-handed reliever, just went on the disabled list today. And Steve Pearce, pretty good right-handed bat, got a calf strain. They're hoping to get him back later this month. Those are the 3 guys on the disabled list for the Blue Jays.
It's amazing, guys with blisters. I never had them, but
Really?
a lot of guys do, and they deal with them all the time, and especially starters, because they'll deal with it, they'll get it during the game, and then they spend the next 4 days dealing with it in the training room, and sometimes it just never seems to go away unless you take that time to get rid of it.
And once you feel it, it's too late. Martin gets called out on strikes. So that is strikeout number 3 for Manaea. I don't think Russell Martin's in total agreement.
No, Manaea's thrown this pitch a couple times. We saw this same exact one to Smoke on the 0-2 pitch to him that was not called. This time, the call was made.
So 1 out. Here's Darvin Barney. Yeah, Rich Hill, I mean, he's pitching now, but you gonna tell me he doesn't think about the blister every time he takes them out? First pitch to Barney is a little bit outside, but you know, correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but your middle finger on your throwing hand, I mean, it is up against a seam pretty much every pitch, right?
Depending how you hold it, yes, everybody, it comes off that finger. That's the last part of your finger, the end of the middle finger that will touch the baseball.
And I guess the point I'm making is you can see where guys would get blisters.
Yeah.
Like Rich Hill throws a lot of curveballs. Well, he's pulling down on that seam almost every time.
Same thing with guys who throw splits. Sometimes their nails start to, your nail digs into the side of your finger if you don't clip them right.
2-0 to Barney. 3-0 to Barney. On deck is Ezekiel Carrera.
I mean, my former teammate Tim Hudson used to get a fake nail put on his middle finger.
Really?
Middle finger, just because otherwise his nail would crack.
Is that legal?
I don't know.
Huddy?
Probably.
Check with Huddy to see if that was legal.
I'm sure it'll be
Did he
fine.
get an okay for that from Major League Baseball?
I doubt it. But his nail would literally crack right down the middle.
Because of
his split.
Really?
Yeah.
3-0 pitch is a strike. Barney at 234 with a homer and 7 RBIs. Devin Travis, who's the other second baseman for the Blue Jays, he got hit in the left hand yesterday, hit by a pitch. So he is sitting out tonight. Travis, pretty good right-handed hitter. Not on the disabled list, but just sitting out. Pitch, and that one is looped over first, but foul.
The Blue Jays are making Manaea work so far.
Yeah, a lot of pitches.
Just 1 out here in the second. He's at 37.
What do you think of the ratio? Not too bad. 12 balls, 25 strikes for a total of 37.
It's a lot of foul balls.
Miss. He struck him out with a fastball. Reared back and let it go. So 4 strikeouts. So check this out, Mark. Manaea, when ahead in the count, throws a fastball 48% of the time. The slider 33% of the time.
Batting in the 9th position.
Changeup 19. But I think the number to look at is down at the bottom. Slider percentage overall.
Yep.
So he's throwing that slider 13% more when he's ahead in the count, as opposed to just overall.
Well, and don't think opposing teams don't see that same thing. So when you, as a Blue Jay hitter, when you fall behind, right here. 0-1. Maybe guys start to look slider at times. And that's something you have to be careful of.
0-1 to Ezekiel Carrera. Tulowitzki led off the inning at second. He is still there. We showed you before, left-handed hitters 2 for 37 against Manaea this year, and Carrera is the only left-handed hitter. Good slider first strike. Chris Davis shallow and left. Rajai Davis just a step or two into left center field.
Well, another good slider. This one down and away. You can see the location. Carrera gave up on that.
That one's hit hard. Lowry with a play. Straightens up. Throws to first. Got him. Heck of a play by Lowry, and it saved a run. Bottom of the second coming up. That'll be Davis, Alonso, and Healy. 1-0 Toronto. won 10-4, lost 11-10. First pitch in for a strike. Alonso, 16 home runs, 34 runs batted in to go with his .297 average. Yonder also has 8 doubles. Broken bat, little knuckleball, and it gets past Barney, and it goes into right center field. When Barney was going over to grab it in the air, and it had some weird action on it. He had a reverse course and try to dive for the backhand, and he couldn't get it.
Well, I was just about to say this is going to be a tough at bat for Alonso with how Happ throws his fastball inside and how much movement there is. Well, he beat me to it and got it in there, but you can see the knuckling action. This ball starts, and it's almost like a right-handed slider at Barney. He first step. I mean, look at that. It's going right at him, and now it's going right back to his right. And he just can't stop quick enough and turn back around. And that ball got inside so much that it probably had some sort of side spin or even pine tar on the ball from how it got in on Alonso.
That's the kind of year Yonder Alonso's having. That's a base hit for him. So 2 on, nobody out. Good opportunity here for the Athletics as Ryan Healy steps up.
Well, this is the situation now. First and second, no outs. These are the situations A's have struggled this year. They have a chance to put together a nice inning here. They need a good at bat from Healy.
A's hitting .207 as a team with runners in scoring position. That one is belted. Left center field and deep, and that baby's gone. 3-1 A's.
Well, another great at bat that we saw. This all started during the National Series. Game 2, the A's started having better at bats. Healy's been having great at bats. This is a changeup, and Healy goes down and gets this one. This is not a bad changeup. It's middle of the plate, but it's down.
So Healy, after a great series against the Nationals, keeps it going. His 12th home run of the year. And you know what hitting coaches will always tell you too, Mark, is on low pitches you got to use your legs a little bit.
Well, and you can see how he goes down and gets that. And now that I see that, you can see Russell Martin wanted that changeup down and away, and it floated back over the plate more than I thought. But there's the full extension.
That's a good swing.
Staying through that changeup.
Trevor Plouffe fouls it back. So Healy now 12 home runs and 31 runs batted in. So he is really putting together a nice season. All started with a walk. Line drive to right, but there's Batista for the first down. Plouffe hit that ball well.
Batting in the 8th position.
Here's Mark Canha.
Right fielder, number 20, Mark.
So that home run for the A's was their 85th of the year. They come in 3rd in the American League in home runs hit. So they just keep knocking the ball out of the yard. Curve to Canha is up and away. Boom. little tricep tear.
Little talking to himself a little there. I mean, Healy's a big boy.
He is a big guy.
You got to be careful there, Chip.
It's that Pac-12 thing. Oregon and Arizona. 2-1 to Canha. 85 home runs, most in A's history after 57 games. Good chunk of them coming at home. So A's do not feel like this is such a bad pitcher's park. It's actually a little bit of a hitter's park for them.
Clearly. But it all comes with better at bats. At least that's what we've seen lately. They've been a little bit more patient, getting in better hitter counts.
Two to Canna. Canna had 203 with 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. That one's in the dirt. For Happ, that's the 7th home run that he has allowed this year in 21 innings. It's a very high amount.
Well, but what that tells me is when he went on the DL, he went on with a sore elbow. And when your elbow's bothering you, you get underneath the baseball, which then makes the pitches flat. They stay up. They don't have the downward tilt that we normally see from him.
3-2 pitch, foul tip, hung on by Russell Martin for the second out here in the second.
Happ's a ground ball guy. He throws a lot of sinking fastballs.
Batting ninth and
That one
catching.
moving away from
Number
Canna.
19, Josh
But if you're dealing with
Buckley.
any sort of elbow issue and you get underneath that ball, it's flat and it kind of screams hit me. It's that last little 2-3 feet in this, maybe let's say 5 feet, get it before the hitter's bat. That late life you hear people say.
That one is looped foul. And you were on the disabled list. You came back and pitched a handful of times in your career. Is it natural for there to be a little hesitancy, maybe just a little apprehension?
Yeah, one of the years I never had elbow issues, but I had a forearm strain, and I came back too early. I lost 3 straight starts after coming back from the DL. And looking back, I mean, sure, I just wanted to get out there. I wanted to pitch. I'll pitch through whatever. That was my mindset at the time. But I probably shouldn't have come back that soon. I missed a month. I think it was 2002. Early in the season, I missed all of May. And I came back, lost 3 straight starts. And after those 3 starts, it completely went away, and I was fine. But I still kind of felt it just a little bit. And that caused the struggles.
0-2 pitch, swung on and missed, and that'll do it for the A's, but they do damage thanks to that guy right there, number 25, Ryan Healy, a 3-run homer, his 12th of the year. So we head to the 3rd. The A's now leading 3-1. Sean Manaea has 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings, and Ryan Healy with the big blow, the 3-run homer. Top of the order for the Blue Jays. And that one's hit to left, and that's hit well. Davis going back. He's going to have just enough room halfway onto the warning track, and he makes the catch. So Pilar is retired on a long fly ball. Manaea 9 for 11 in shutdown inning opportunities
Now
so
batting,
far this year.
number 20, Josh Donaldson.
So here's Donaldson. Donaldson had an RBI double. First at bat. Third season for Donaldson in Toronto. Of course, he was the MVP in 2015 when he had 297 with 41 homers, 123 RBIs. Last year, he followed it up with a 284 average, 37 homers, 99 RBIs. Before that, did a pretty good job as a member of the Athletics. We saw a little bit of time in 2010 and got here for real in 2012. He was terrific.
High energy guy.
Yeah, played with an edge, man,
Yep.
and I think that carried over onto his teammates. Good fastball. Donaldson swings and misses.
We talked about that high energy. There's also trying to do a lot of damage each and every swing.
Two pitch, tapped foul. Donaldson will be 32 years old in December. He can be a free agent after next year. So, see what happens with Josh Donaldson. He's not necessarily a young player anymore, but I think he'll be able to hit for a while because
he's a difference maker.
He can swing it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. If he stays in Toronto, goes elsewhere.
A lot of that with the age. Depends how you take care of yourself. Obviously, he's playing on turf. I get it. The turf is better now.
Close pitch. And there's the walk. Very close pitch. Second walk by Manaea.
Well, I think Donaldson for a second there might have thought he was going to get rung up.
Right
He
fielder,
pauses and
number 19,
kind of gives that odd
Jose
bat flip.
Bautista.
That's kind of the one where the hitters aren't really sure. Good pitch down and in, and the reason, in my opinion, the reason he doesn't swing at it is because he got fooled by it. You can't look at that and go, man, he just took that good slider that I threw, but he took it because he couldn't hit it. I mean that's the reality of it.
Sure.
There's times guys take these take an 0-2 pitch, and as a pitcher, you sometimes go, how did he take that? But it's because that's not what they were looking for, and they got fooled by it, and they couldn't hit it. It just happened to be a ball.
Down and into Jose Bautista, who grounded out to short in the first inning. Bautista with 10 home runs. Bautista was a free agent after last year. And he looked around, and teams probably interested in him, maybe not at his asking price. He was asking for a lot of money. He ended up going back to the Blue Jays. It was a one-year contract for $18 million. But there's a mutual option for next year and a vesting option for 2019. So it has a chance to end up being a 3-year deal.
Yeah, I think he went into the offseason. All you heard was 4 years. He wanted 3, 4, 5 years. Those were all the rumors. I get it, but it's not like he's a young kid anymore either.
Another guy who, oh, and he went around, and Batista's not going to like that call. Pat Holberg is getting chewed on a little bit by Batista. It'll be interesting to see if he indeed did go around.
A good slider in the dirt, and you can see it.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that the head bat, the bat.
Now batting.
As we got the birds
Number 8,
flying
Ken
right
Reeves,
behind him,
on
but the head of
outs.
the bat just went too far, and he didn't think so. But it doesn't matter what he thinks.
Yeah. Our replays look like he swung more than he did. How about that? Swing and a miss by Kendrys Morales. Good changeup from Minaya. He throws the changeup there. He's going to get a lot of right-hand hitters out.
Yeah, he threw one to Bautista that kind of came down and in. Those are the ones you don't want to these right-handed power hitters.
That one's a shot, backhanded. Lowry hustles to the bag, side retired. So the Donaldson walk does not hurt the A's. Bottom of the third coming up, 3-1 Athletics. limit tonight, but still the Blue Jays will probably keep a close eye on.
No, but I wouldn't expect, with him going, what, 81 you said in the last start, I wouldn't be shocked to see max of maybe 95. They're still going to be somewhat careful with this just being his second start coming off that DL.
Three-two pitch. Foul back. Hanging in there. That was a good location pitch for Happ. Lowry spoiled it.
And that's kind of where Happ, when right, that's where he lives. He lives down in the zone. A sinking fastball. That's a, as you said, that's a good job of fighting that off.
Another 3-2. Batista hustling back, and Batista grabs it. So a 3-up, 3-down inning for Jay Happ. And we're on to the fourth inning. It'll be Smoke, Tulowitzki, and Martin. 3-1 the A's lead.
The Yankees' 4-game visit to Oakland wraps up on Father's Day, Sunday, June 18th. 15,000 fans will get a Marcus Semien starting lineup action figure presented by Ashby Lumber and Humboldt Redwood Company. Get tickets at athletics.com.
Well, that's part of the next homestand, which would be a good one. The Yankees for 4 and then the Astros for 4. So two of the better teams in the American League will be coming to Coliseum, both first place teams. First pitch, Smoke. Lines one to center field. Leadoff single for the Blue Jays. And let's check in with Angela.
Well, as soon as that sun goes down, guys, it's already starting to get a little chilly, so I'm wearing my special ticket Pride scarf a little early. But tomorrow night, come celebrate at the Coliseum. It's going to be Pride night, and it'll be at the Shibe Park Tavern. There will be a pregame party in the West Side patio. Gates open early at 4:30, and there will be drink specials, a photo booth. Also, fans can leave their mark literally by being part of a rainbow handprint mural. Partial proceeds from the special tickets will be donated to AIDS Project of East Bay, Our Space, and the Rainbow Community Center. Go to athletics.com/pride to get your tickets. They will sell out. Guys, back up to you.
All right, so busy night at the ballpark tomorrow with the free parking as well. Early batting practice, or you can come in early to watch batting practice. So come on out and see the A's and the Blue Jays. Game 2 of the series. The pitching matchup tomorrow night will be Jesse Hahn and Marco Estrada, a couple of right-handers. 1-1 to Tulowitzki, who doubled leading off the second, but he never advanced past second base. So 1-2 to Tulowitzki. Graduated from Fremont High School in Sunnyvale. So I'm sure he has a long pass list. A little pop-up right near Manaea. Alonso says, get the heck out of the way. That's what makes it good. So that's out number 1 here in the 4th. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Month of May was a good one for Sean Manaea, better than April. He was 1-2 with a 5.18 ERA, but look at May, 3-1, 2.63. All the numbers are very good. So he's heading into June on a roll.
Well, almost the same amount of innings pitched, but almost half the walks. And that goes a long way to less guys on base, less pitches thrown.
Well, his last 2 games that we've talked about how well he's pitched, both on the road, at New York, good lineup, at Cleveland, good lineup. And he shut both those teams down. Russell Martin swings and misses. Good fastball, a little elevated.
Well, Sean Manaea gets a lot of swings and misses up in the zone, and there's some deception. He kind of comes from the side a little bit. He stays tall, but his arm is not over the top. It's maybe just above sidearm almost. And it's not like he throws 96. It's 92, 90 to 93 at times.
Well, you were a tall left-hander, but your delivery was a lot different than Manaea's.
Yeah.
And you were more right over the top.
Yep. He slings it, I guess is a better term for it.
Well, his arm, and we talk about this a lot, if you just watch where his arm comes from, he drops his arm way down, and look how far it has to come, all the way around.
Well, and you can see he doesn't. He's not someone who stays tall through his delivery. He has a longer stride. He pushes more of a drop and drive a little bit.
Mark Canha waiting, and Canha grabs it. It's your delivery. You were always pretty upright. Were you always that way?
Yeah.
I mean, even when you were
when I was
a little kid, just playing catch.
I think the majority of guys, you don't see a whole lot of guys throw one way as, say, a little leaguer, and then throw a different way when they get older. Yeah. It's kind of ingrained in you. It either kind of works or it doesn't. I mean, you can make small changes here or there, but not a whole lot's going to change drastically unless you go from someone who's over the top to a straight side armor.
Yeah, that's a complete.
Yeah.
It wasn't working that way. I'm putting it away and trying something different. 1-0 to Darwin Barney. Two walks, 5 strikeouts from Manaea so far. Pitch count maybe a little higher than he would want at 68 with 2 outs here in the 4th. And it's 1-1. Barney struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. Well off the plate. Fegley has to reach far to his left to grab it. First inning really got Manaea with the 25 pitches. Better since. Slider.
Well, on that slider, that's the reason that he can elevate at 92 and throw it by guys. In the back of their minds, they know it's there. You can see the break, the depth.
Got him again. The nasty stuff tonight for Sean Manaea. He's got 6 strikeouts through 4 innings. Bottom of the 4th coming up. 3-1 the A's lead. It's the 11th season of the NBC Sports California All-Star Teacher Program, recognizing teachers that make a difference. Visit NBCSportsCalifornia.com and vote. The winner receives $20,000 for his or her school. So it's the bottom of the 4th inning here at the Coliseum. 3-1 the A's lead. First pitch to Chris Davis from Jay Happ is a strike at the knee. Davis, Alonzo, Healy, these are the guys that got the A's their 3 runs in the 2nd inning. Davis walked, Alonzo singled, Healy homered. A little bit outside. See, Happ, not a real hard thrower. Works in and out. Happ was a free agent after the 2015 season, and he signed with the Blue Jays in a 3-year contract. So this is year 2 of that 3-year deal. Really going back to Toronto. 3-1 pitches outside, so the A's have their leadoff hitter aboard for the 2nd time.
No, and you mentioned he's not a hard thrower, but the majority of the time when I've seen him in the past, he's more 92, 93 than 90, 91 that he is in this game so far. I think I've seen 192, but normally he does not miss location as often as he has so far in this game.
Yonder Alonso had a base hit in the 2nd. Outside corner, first strike. Alonso got jammed, and he had kind of a strange ball that took a weird bounce and got past Darwin Barney for a hit. Another strike. 1-2.
Well, missing location a little bit, but it works out to his benefit. There was a 93.
moves off the plate, and Yonder Alonso went after it. Third strikeout for Happ. So that's one out. Ryan Healy's batting average against left-handed pitching this year is .383. That is 5th best in the American League. Avisail Garcia, .464.
It's a pretty good number, 464.
Yep. Justin Smoke, a switch hitter. Healy takes a pitch, just missed, a little high maybe.
And this was earlier. Change up down. Healy goes down and gets it. And then Chip Hale gets the brunt of it. Healy a little excited coming around third. Trying to take his arm off maybe.
Doesn't know his own strength.
Well, I think after you hit a homer, not many guys do.
That's true. But we hope Chip's okay. Two 2-0 the count, so he'll be looking for something to drive right here. Strike on the outside corner.
Well, Jerry Davis behind home is not called that consistently, but called it a few times.
Pitch swing and a miss, and now it's 2-2, 93 miles an hour from Happ.
Well, Healy swings and misses at this pitch, but still a good swing. We saw numerous good swings from him this weekend. That 4-for-4 game with 2 homers on Saturday.
And that one is belted left center field and deep. And that baby's gone. 2-run homer for Healy, and it's 5-1.
Well, somebody's feeling it right now.
Feeling a little frisky.
Yeah, somebody's a little hot. Fastball in. Look at him pull his hands in. He got that ball out in front that time. The first one was a changeup down. I mean, that's 2 no-doubters. Yeah. Watch this pitch. Russell Martin wants it in. That's on the black in. Hands come inside, able to get the barrel to the ball. I mean, that's as good as it gets for a right-handed hitter, getting to an inside fastball.
Plouffe bounces one toward third. Donaldson ranging far to his left, and he throws out Plouffe. So 2 away here in the 4th inning, and the A's now with a 5-1 lead.
Right fielder, number 20.
So Healy had a 2-homer game on Saturday, and he's got a 2-homer game on Monday. He now has 13 home runs and 33 runs batted in. Not too shabby.
And this was on Saturday, the 2 home runs he hit. The first one going opposite field, almost up in the same spot on the other side where he hit his second one today, and that one to dead center. So not only are a lot of these no-doubters, but they're to all parts of the field.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like these are down the line. Those are all to left center to right center.
1-1 the count to Mark Canha. So 86 home runs now for the A's in 57 games.
It really is amazing the amount of runs the A's score on home runs. I mean, they're already leading Major League Baseball in percentage of runs scored on home runs, and
which is not surprising.
yeah, but it just keeps growing.
Smoke backs up, foul territory. He's got it, and that's out number 3. Healy's done it again. He's got another 2-homer game. This one a 2-run shot. So 5th inning coming up, 5-1 the A's lead. The Blue Jays won. Healy with 2 home runs, a 3-run shot, and a 2-run shot off Jay Happ. So Manaea now with the 5-1 lead, facing Carrera, Pilar, and Donaldson. Carrera had a hit taken away from him in the 2nd inning on a nice play by Lowry, and it was a hit that would have scored a run. Manaea with 6 strikeouts. Carrera went to bunt. He almost walked right into one.
Well, anytime you square around like this, especially you get that slider inside and that left foot comes around, and it's tougher to get out of the way of that.
Shoots that one foul. 2-2 the count. 3 hits allowed by Manaea so far. A couple of doubles and a single. 2-2 pitch, good take by Carrera. 3-2. Coming back with the fastball at 93 miles an hour.
Well, this is what we've seen so far in this game. Another 3-2 count. Just a lot of deep counts, a lot of foul balls. That pitch count getting up there.
Another foul ball. Pitch number 80 coming up for Manaea. Line drive just foul. Moving around out there in the Blue Jays bullpen. Nobody's throwing, but some stretching going on. Getting a good view of the game. Pitch is foul again. So a 9-pitch at bat so far.
Well, and when you're pumping fastballs right here, it's okay. When's the time to go to that slider? How comfortable do you feel with it? Or do you keep wanting to attack him with the fastball?
Slider just missed, and it's a leadoff walk.
And
so
that's what makes it tough. Is the last thing you want to do is lose him on that breaking ball, because you just threw, what, 10 pitches, and you end up walking him. And that ball up in the zone a little bit. Could have gone either way, but it didn't go the A's way, and here we are with the leadoff walk.
It's the 4th time in 5 innings that the Blue Jays have had their leadoff man aboard. The only time they cashed in on it was the very first inning.
But you don't want to keep giving them those opportunities.
No, not this lineup. First pitch to Pilar is outside. Pilar walked and scored in the first, hit a fly ball to left field in the third. Hit pretty well. Davis caught it on the warning track. Plouffe even with the bag at third. Outfield straight away. Middle infielders right at double play depth. Pilar calls timeout. Carrera has 3 steals on the year. The Blue Jays are not a real big stolen base team. They have 23 on the year. That's 11th out of 15 teams in the American League. Pilar leads the team with 9. So 1-0 the count to Pilar. Big boys are coming up next with Donaldson, Batista, and Morales. Fastball just a touch outside. Close pitch.
I was going to say, not a bad pitch there. Fegley just kind of reaches forward. I guess that was, didn't seem off that far off the plate is what it showed.
So Fegley heads back behind home plate. 2-0 the count. That one on the inside corner for a strike. Pilar's got some power. He's got 7 home runs this year. And he hits it hard, fair. Headed down toward the bullpen and into the corner. Carrera rounds third. Carrera's going to come in to score, easily standing up, and it's 5-2. Ball got stuck down there, and Chris Davis had to dig it out. Carrera is very fast, so he scored easily.
Well, the pitch went back to the inner half, and Pilar pulls that right down the line. From our point of view, I could tell it was going to not hit that corner and bounce to the outfield, but instead it skirts that corner and gets stuck right there under the mat. And I'm actually, you know, that's a tough call for Chris Davis. Do you put your hands up? It looked like it was wedged underneath the padding there.
You put your hands up and they don't call anything.
Well,
everybody keeps running.
Yeah, the problem is you put your hands up, the umpire runs out there, and if he says ball's in play, Pilar's standing at home.
You're probably better off to just try to pull it out of there.
Yep. But if you go for it, the second you reach for it, ball's in play.
Yeah.
And then there's not going to be a ground rule double call.
So here's Donaldson. So kind of a strange play, though. You don't see that happen very often, especially when the ball's sort of rolling in from the side. 0-1 to Donaldson, who doubled and walked so far in the game. Lowry sneaking in behind Pilar. The RBI for Pilar was his 14th of the year. Check swing, fouled straight back. Donaldson always been extremely aggressive. Donaldson watches that one drop low. So the count is 1-2. Pitch number 90 coming up for Manaea. Melvin keeping a close eye on his young left-hander. Starting to move around a little bit on that A's bullpen. A lot of stretching going on there. Donaldson bounces one at the plate. Donaldson a little frustrated. He looked like he got a fastball that was up out over the plate.
Yeah, that's one he would like again. See Axford getting loose, one of them down there. Yeah, that's a pitch Donaldson would like again. You can see him yelling at himself.
Pilar, good speed at second. Lowry trying to keep him close.
1-2 count here. You want to try and maybe throw that back foot slider or a fastball down and away.
Down and in, and Donaldson took a look at it. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, he tried going change up there and just kind of yanked it down and in. Got on the side of it. Hand got on the side of it. Didn't get that extension with it.
Manaea, quick look back. Pilar with the pretty good lead and the 2-2 pitch. Just missed. Could have been called a strike.
That's about 3 or 4 times now where Sean's trying to go inside with that fastball.
It's a strike.
And hasn't gotten that call once. That up and in.
So now it's 3-2. Ball's chopped in the hole. Pinder has it. Pinder straightens up his throw across the diamond in time. Now Pilar trying for third, and he is safe. So Pinder made a nice play to get Donaldson. Pilar read it just about right. Looking all the way.
Yeah, Donaldson hits it in the hole. Pinder kind of took his time a little bit. Maybe he had to get a grip on the ball, but makes a great strong throw across the field. And there's Pilar. He waits for the throw. And as aggressive as he is, you know, he's wearing that little glove to protect his fingers and his wrist. And you can see him, he grabs onto the bag. Plouffe holding that tag. You'd almost think that glove would make it a little bit more difficult to hold the bag with your hand.
You would definitely think so. I don't know how much it gives down at the end where the fingers are. Here's Batista. Batista hits it hard. They're coming home. And the tag, and they got him. So the infield was not even playing in, but the ball was hit pretty hard. And Plouffe decided to come home, and they easily got Pilar. That's a huge out.
Well, this ball's hit hard, but it kind of makes me wonder if the bat played a part. Pilar almost seemed like he was ready to throw or slide. And I know the throw got there in plenty of time. But where that bat is right where he would want to slide. And instead, he doesn't slide at all, and Fegley applies that tag.
So Batista is on a fielder's choice. Pilar taken off the bases. And here's Kendrys Morales.
And here's the swing. You can see Batista drops that bat, and if Pilar's gonna slide, he's not gonna go head first. He's gonna go in and try to reach his hand in to touch the plate. But that's right where the bat was.
Yeah, sliding on top of the bat, not a great idea. That would hurt.
And it was really right in the spot where he would have gone down to the ground, so he would have landed on it. And by then, and maybe he thought, okay, I got to go. Let me go to the right of it, but then you wouldn't be able to touch the plate.
What it is it's a little bit of a break for the A's.
Yeah.
Even though Plouffe made a nice play, certainly. 1-1 to Kendrys Morales. Morales has struck out and he has grounded out. That was pitch number 26 in this inning for Sean Manaea. He's up to 97. He has not had a 3-up, 3-down inning in this game. I think you said it best, but just a lot of foul balls.
Yeah, and these are the types of games, though, that take a lot out of you. I know he's at 97 pitches, and we're just in the 5th, but.
And now it's 3-1.
This game has been a mental grind for him. Deep counts, runners in scoring position, walks to leadoff innings. Hits to lead off innings, so there's been a guy on base. He's been in the stretch the entire time.
And Morales skies one down the left field line. It's going to be foul. Like it had home run distance, but well foul.
Well, you go fastball in, Morales pulls it foul. He's able to turn on it. It's 3-2, and you don't want to walk somebody, but you could throw a backdoor slider here.
And he threw him a slider down and in, and Morales strikes out. So Sean Manaea gets his 7th strikeout. A run for the Blue Jays. Bottom of the 5th coming up. 5-2, the A's lead.
Saturday, July 1st. The team will wear black jerseys from the era, and 15,000 fans will receive a dual bobblehead of Miguel Tejada and Barry Zito, presented by New Era Caps. For tickets to this game against the Braves, visit athletics.com/promotions.
Should be a good one. 5-2, bottom of the 5th inning. Happ back to work. Although if Happ looks down in the bullpen, he sees 3 guys starting to stretch out. So just don't look down there. Were you a glancer? See, you don't strike me as a.
No, but you heard it. Yeah, you heard the pop of the glove. That's when you got a little annoyed.
Really, Maka? I'm fine out here.
Right. Yeah, for me it was more hearing the glove than really. I didn't really look very often. I was never checking.
But were there times you were like, maybe that's a good idea?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There were plenty of times for that. Like, please, somebody help.
Yeah, I want to hear that popping because I'm out of gas.
Either that or my neck hurt. So
that probably didn't happen.
It was enough.
Fegley, Davis, and Pinder here in the bottom of the 5th. It's been Ryan Healy tonight, a 3-run homer in the 2nd, a 2-run homer in the 4th. Hit hard toward Tulowitzki behind second base and throws out Fegley. So Tulowitzki takes care of Fegley, and now to the top of the order, Raj Davis.
Now batting center fielder, number 11, Raj Davis.
Davis has grounded out and hit a fly ball to right field. He's 0 for 2. Jay Davis really struggling. He's 3 for his last 32. Make that 3 for his last 33 with 12 strikeouts. So frustrating for Raj. Last year he hit 249. Remember, he stole 43 bags last year for the Indians. He's got 7 this year for the A's. Just has not been on base a lot.
No, I will never claim to no hitting, but lots of times when I see him swing, he seems to be out in front of everything, out on his front foot, not letting that ball get deep. We saw against the Nationals yesterday, out in front in that 9th inning. A 2-1 pop-up. It seems like he's either out in front or he's late. And we saw him swing and miss in his first at-bat on one where he was late. That one, too.
A chance to get on here. 3-1 the count. He is aboard with a 1-out walk. Well, that'll bring up Chad Pinder. You can now stream the A's on the go with NBCSportsCalifornia.com and the NBC Sports app. It's presented by your Northern California.
Now batting shortstop, number 18, Chad Pinder.
So that's the 3rd walk issued by Happ. The first 2 scored, and they were both Chris Davis. See if Rajay Davis takes a shot at swiping a bag here. He's got a huge lead, and he runs. Pinder takes it. Now he spins around and goes back, and he just got back. Smoke checks the dugout. Rajay Davis was gone. He was going.
And I really didn't think it was that bad of a jump either. But after that first step, and maybe there was some sort of a slip that he felt, or he just didn't feel like it was a very good jump.
He was able to get back.
Yeah.
So good call by Pat Holbert. Like what Holbert did there. He got himself in a good position to make the call. Jerry Davis taking charge. Rajai went about 3 steps to second base and then turned around. Well, Pinder took a strike. But if you're the hitter, you probably don't want to take 2 strikes to allow the guy to try to steal a bag. At some point, you just got to hit. Outfield shifted well toward right. And he goes. Smoke's throw to second base is off target, right into the glove of Tulowitzki, who was the backup guy. So to be a stolen base. They had Rajai picked off, but he forced them to make a good throw, and Smoke did not.
Well, the second Rajai takes off, Justin Smoke has to come get that baseball in order to clear him on Rajai to get to the inside. You can see he doesn't take 1 step towards the pitcher. He's got a step or 2, get inside. That way it makes that throw easier. You can see Rajai running on the inside part of that lane in order to make that throw more difficult. And Rajai did what's right. The minute that throws over, you're going first move. And if he picks you off and throws over, you just go. You run on the inside part of the baseline, which he did, but Smoke didn't come and get the ball.
And it's possible that him running on the inside affected the throw.
Oh, without a doubt. Being lefty, the ball's going to tail away, so that means you almost have to start it at him if you're not going to get inside of the runner.
Rajai bouncing around now. He's got to die back. Watch how he goes in just enough, but it certainly could affect the first baseman's throw right there.
Well, and the only thing is with that is if you make that too obvious, you know, then there's times, and you see that a lot with catchers when they're swinging bunt and the guy running to first. Lots of times they call that runner out when he's running. He barely touches that grass.
And now the pickoff hits Rajai Davis. And they're going to come out and check on Rajai.
Well, Happ turns and throws. Rajai really wasn't that far off the base. I'm surprised Rajai got off the bag. Well, he saw the baseball. I was wondering why he bounced off the bag like that in case somebody was there to pick it up, but he saw the baseball bounced off his back towards Tulowitzki.
Well, that's going to hurt a little bit.
And when he turns right there, he locates it.
So he's okay. So the count is still 0-1. So there's a little cat and mouse game going on between Happ and Raj Davis. So now Barney playing right there. And Raj is going to get to third as that ball scoots right past Russell Martin. Pitcher's well in the dirt.
Well, there's a perfect example of paying too much attention to a runner.
Question.
Happ, all his focus went away from making a pitch, and it all went to Rajai Davis. And there's 1 out in this inning, and I get it. You don't want to let him steal third, but if you're throwing that pitch to home, you have to make sure you have 100% of your focus on making a good pitch, which he doesn't do. Rajai got in his head, and now Rajai's at third with 1 out, and Pinder has to do his job to get him in. Infield's in.
Swings over top, and the count is 1-2. Remember, the Blue Jays had Rajai Davis picked off. They just could not execute the throw. So there really should be 2 outs in this inning and nobody on base. These have a good opportunity to score a run. Blocked by Russell Martin. 2-2 the count.
Well, good job by Martin keeping this ball in front of him. The one before he wasn't able to. It kind of bounced off his wrist towards the backstop that allowed Rajai to get to third.
pitch is tapped towards second. Barney looks Rajay Davis back. Raj had come down the line a little ways, but so Pinder cannot get Rajay Davis home. That's the second out here.
Now batting second baseman, number 8, Chad Lowry.
So that hurts. It's up to Lowry. See if Jed can come through with a 2-out hit. Lowry so far has grounded out and hit a fly ball to right field. First pitch in the dirt. Lowry splits this year. He is a switch hitter, obviously. As a right-handed hitter, he's hitting .227. As a left-handed hitter, .311. Got 44 at bats, make it 46 at bats now, right-handed. Rolls over that one past Chip Hale down the left field line. So 1-1 the count. Pitch number 80 coming up for Hap. At home this year, Jed Lowry hitting .337, just like Ryan Healy. Those are the highest home batting averages in the American League. Aaron Judge can do no wrong.
It's not surprising with that short right field porch there in New York.
You're going to reach that a lot.
Yeah.
1-1. We'll see Aaron Judge on our next homestand. Not that far from Oakland. We'll have lots of friends. And lots of pitches for Hap. So both Hap and Manaea are working extra hard tonight. Nothing has been easy. And now it's 2-2. So it's going to be, maybe not just yet, but it's going to be sometime soon, a battle of the bullpens.
Well, I like that, seeing Manaea. He'll be going back out for the 6th.
Two pitches low, and now a full count to Lowry. Chris Davis will get a chance to hit in this inning. Hap kicks and deals, and it's foul back. Jed Lowry does a pretty good job of spoiling pitches. He'll foul a lot of pitches off. Rajay Davis is the runner at third. He's trying to get him home. And that one hit to right. Batista back over a little bit. He's got it side retired. So the A's strand Rajay Davis at third. 6th inning coming up. A's 5, Blue Jays 2.
A's Baseball on NBC Sports California is brought to you by the Craftsmen of Commerce at Pitney Bowes, helping U.S. online retailers expand globally.
Uh-oh, purchases being made. Nice. See that gentleman behind the cash register and see his sweet Oakland Oaks letter jacket. Hey, if you can wear a letter jacket, I still wear mine from high school. It's great. Fits perfect.
Does it have all your awards down the side?
Oh, dang, yeah. You can hear me coming.
They still do those? They still have those?
Oh, do they? Kind of a big deal many, many years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a Midwest thing where you and I are from.
Exactly.
Smoke drives on the right, but Canna's right there. Canna has it. So, Mark, earlier we were talking about Manaea's motion and your motion, which to me was completely different. You stood very upright, very over the top. Check it out. Now watch Mark.
Number 2, Roy.
See, Manaea is kind of a drop and drive guy and very three-quarter. Mark, you were, I mean, look, you're straight up and you were right over the top.
Yeah, I always tried to stay tall. I had a very short stride for as tall as I am.
But a short stride for somebody like you, that would help you throw downhill more, right?
Theoretically.
Yeah.
Yes, because you get a little more extension. You get a little further out in front. Yeah, you couldn't really be a short strider and throw sidearm. It'd be hard to do that.
Sure. Daniel Coulomb warming up quickly. Two and 0 to Tulowitzki, who has doubled and popped out to first. There's the strike, 2-1. .106 pitches for Manaea. That ties his season high. And that one's driven to right center. Could be trouble. Canna on the move. Davis on the move. But Canna is going to get there, and he makes the catch. Like that one hung up a little bit.
Yeah, it seemed like it was hit a little bit better, especially Canna watching him from up here. His first step was kind of back a little, and then he drifted over towards right center to make this
Number
catch.
55, Russell Martin.
You can see him going back, and then he heads more towards the gap to make the catch. It just kind of died out in right center.
So 2 away, and Manaea has a chance to have his first 3 up, 3 down inning, and it would come at a good time. Martin rips it foul. First row B, careful. That was coming in hot, as they like to say. Fastball up and away. Russell Martin has struck out looking and hit a fly ball to right field. Good pitch. Fastball on the inside corner. So 1-2. Manaea trying to finish strong. He's got 7 strikeouts. He's walked 3. In the air, right center. Playable for Rajai Davis. He's got it, and Sean Manaea has his first 3 up, 3 down inning. Bottom of the 6th coming up. It'll be Davis, Alonso, and Healy. 5-2 A's.
dry tip. That's California's go-to barbecue. Introducing your new favorite sandwich, only $9.99.
Choices there, Mr. Pickles or Shibe Park Tavern. Shibe Park Tavern, always a very popular place. So 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts for Sean Manaea, and a season-high 111 pitches. Well, it's always nice when you see a guy have his best inning, his last inning.
Well, and I love it that Melvin put him back out there for that inning.
Just foul.
He was at 100 pitches, went out for that 6th, and new career high in pitches, but you learn from that. You learn that the deeper you go at times, you learn that you can be just as strong over 100 pitches as he was in the first inning.
So not only for Manaea the most pitches he's thrown in his career, but it's the most pitches a starter has thrown this year for the A's. So 111. So he had to work hard tonight. 1-1 the count to Chris Davis. So the power hitters, Davis, Alonso, and Healy here in the bottom of the 6th inning against Happ. He's at 86 pitches. Action in both bullpens now as Axford throwing in the A's bullpen. Davis cues that one foul. Danny Barnes, the right-hander, is in the Blue Jays bullpen. Blue Jays have the conventional 7-man bullpen, 5 right-handers, 2 left-handers. Miles an hour, just a bit low. Davis has walked twice and scored twice. He walked leading off the 2nd inning, and he walked leading off the 4th inning. And now it's 3-2. Watching Happ pitch, and again, when he's pitched against the A's, he's always been good. He's 4-0 against the Athletics, but he just does not look quite sharp tonight.
No, he's missed on a lot of locations, which control is part of his thing. Ground balls are his thing. He's given up more fly balls tonight than normal.
Yeah, and he gets Chris Davis on a check swing, so that's the first out here in the bottom of the 6th, and let's see what's going on with Angelo.
Well, next Saturday morning, June 17th, the Athletics will be dedicating the Seagate here at the Coliseum to Hall of Famer Catfish Hunter. And there will be a special fan meet and greet to honor Hunter at the Shibe Park Tavern, with former Athletics Vida Blue, Bert Campaneris, Darryl Knowles, John Blue Moon Odom, and more, including former A's radio broadcaster Monty Moore, will be on hand to meet fans from 10 to 11 a.m. All proceeds will benefit the Jim Catfish Hunter ALS Foundation and the Oakland A's Community Fund. So for those tickets to the special reception, go to athletics.com/catfish. Guys, back up to you.
So that's a nice touch. Gate C will be renamed the Catfish Hunter Gate. Gate C is on the first base line a little way. It's one of the main entrances here to the ballpark. Big swing by Yonder Alonso. He got a little piece of Jerry Davis. Let's make sure Mr. Davis is okay.
Well, that fastball up and in, you can see that catches him square. Right near the jaw, and that's the one that rattles your jaw, and you can see that ball just falls straight down, and Russell Martin there to grab him.
It's interesting, you saw that replay, Mark, and I know Ray Fosse talks a lot about this. When the catcher moves, some umpires move with him. Jerry Davis does, but look how open he is.
Yep.
He's complete, almost his entire body except his left leg is exposed to a foul ball. But some umpires will move with the catcher.
Yep.
I don't know that that's the right thing to do, but he stays right in the middle of the strike zone.
Well,
but then you're open.
Yeah, you see the umpire has his hand on the catcher's back, and when the catcher moves, he then slides with him.
Yeah, but he
stays
Jerry
right
Davis
there.
Stays right there. But man, there's no catcher in front of you to really protect you. So the count is 1-1 to Yonder Alonso. I mean, watch him move, and Jerry Davis stays right there, but then he's just wide open.
But you'd also have to think if you move, then it changes your sights on where the strike zone is. So the plate almost moves, essentially.
Yep.
So now you're looking at it from a different angle.
See, it's the same thing. I mean, I like the fact that Jerry Davis is staying right in the middle of the plate. That's where, that's where you should stay, but you are unprotected. One to Yonder Alonso. There it is again. Swing and a miss. So 2-2. Alonso has singled and scored, and he has struck out. Just got a piece of it and reached for it a little bit.
That was a good job of following that ball off. Hap's gone in on Alonso quite a few times. Throwing the ball by him, had the broken bat hit in the first inning. That one a fastball away. And Alonso just gets enough to get another pitch.
That one comes inside, and Alonso rolls it foul. Hap closing in on 100 pitches. Take by Yonder, and now a full count. Seen a lot of full counts tonight as well.
Absolutely. A lot of guys fouling off pitches. Not it. Pitchers, both sides haven't really been, even though Manaea had some strikeouts, just not able to put guys away.
It's a shot right center field and a base hit. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. So Yonder Alonso will have a one-out double. Heck of an at bat for Yonder Alonso, his 9th double of the year. So at 98 pitches for Hap, John Gibbons is coming out, and he has seen enough. So 5 1/3 tonight for Jay Happ. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts.
By Max Muscle Sports Nutrition. Stop by our newest store in Petaluma for huge grand opening deals.
So Jay Happ out here in the 6th inning after 5 1/3. He leaves trailing 5-2. The new pitcher is the right-hander Danny Barnes. So Barnes, he's 27 years old from North Shore, New York. 19th appearance, 1-2 with a 3.09 ERA. Pitched a little bit in the big leagues last year for the Blue Jays, 12 games. So second year in the bigs, and he faces the red-hot Ryan Healy.
And Barnes, just fastball changeup. He has a slider, but will occasionally throw it to right-handed hitters.
Healy with a 3-run homer and a 2-run homer so far. His last home run was in the 4th inning, and this is the 2-run shot. Well, that's the 3-run shot in the 2nd.
That's the changeup down and away. And here's the fastball in. And that's one of the best swings we've seen him take. Of all these home runs he's hit, that was probably the most impressive one, getting to that inside heater.
Ooh, he had a rip there. He wanted that one.
That's one he sure would like to have back. A fastball that Barnes is trying to go away with. Tails right back over the plate. And you can see Healy is all over this, just underneath it, just a little bit.
That's a power swing right there, folks. Great extension. So 1-2 the count. Fouls it straight back. Last 4 games, Ryan Healy is 8 for 14 with 2 doubles, 4 home runs, 9 RBIs, and 5 runs scored. He's hot. Alonso, the runner at second. 1-2 pitch. Did he go? No. Healy got out there quite a ways, but.
Well, and this is that occasional slider that he will throw. And you can see that bat, he's able to keep it back. Close, though.
Trevor Plouffe will be next. Tapped in the hole. Tulowitzki backhands, slings it across, and Healy's out. Alonso stays at second base, so now it'll be up to Trevor Plouffe.
Now batting, third baseman, number 3, Trevor.
Trevor Plouffe is lined out to right and grounded to short, and he needs a hit in the worst way. He is 0 for his last 24. And 4 for his last 42. So Trevor Plouffe probably deserves a little flair somewhere for an RBI single.
Get him going.
Popped it up. Smoke hustling down the line, and he is going to make the catch. Side retired. So Alonso's 1-out double. He is stranded, and we're headed to the 7th. A's 5, Blue Jays 2. debut. It came against the Rangers. He struck out the first 3 batters he faced, and he was, right on the black with about 96 miles an hour. Last day's pitcher to strike out the first 3 batters he faced in his career was Blake Stein. May 10th, 1998 against the White Sox. Blake Stein.
I played with him.
Did you?
Yeah, my first year in AAA. 99.
So Sean Doolittle, need him back. He's getting closer. I think he was supposed to throw his second rehab inning tonight. Either way, the A's need him back. Need to get that second lefty in the bullpen. So John Axford's the new pitcher. This is Ryan Goins, who's hitting for Barney. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair expert. So John Axford trying to find his form. This is his 7th appearance. Got a high ERA. Goins. Blue Jays need base runners.
Correction on the batter.
Swings wildly at a pitch well over his head.
Number 17, Ryan Goins.
Goins, who can stay in the game and play second base for Barney. So Manaea goes 6 innings, gives up the 2 runs. Goins chased another high fastball. He hasn't seen a strike yet, but he's behind in the count 1-2.
Well, you always appreciate it when the hitter helps you out like that. Could easily be 3-0 right now.
Carrera to follow, and then the top of the order, Kevin Pillar. Axford, why not? Tries it again.
If they're going to chase it, you keep throwing it. Try to expand a little further. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go right back up there again.
And he did, and Goins got a piece of this one. Fouls it in the foul ball alley, and a fan with his glove stands up in the second row and grabs it. No problem. Kid with the pretzel said, I don't have time to chase the foul ball. I have a pretzel lead.
He stood up. He stood up for it, but he
not
missed.
a big effort.
He didn't give a whole lot of effort.
His concentration is on that pretzel.
He didn't want to drop it.
Another 2-2 pitch. Here it is. Curve. Got him looking. No one sees the first curveball from Axford, and that's a strikeout.
Can't be all that easy when you see high fastball after high fastball, and then you see a breaking ball start way up high, and you obviously want to lay off something up, but it's a breaking ball down into the zone, and strike 3.
So here's Ezequiel Carrera. He has grounded out and then walked and scored in the 5th inning. Carrera is the 9th place hitter. Curve, and he takes that one low. 2-0 the count. Hey, what a big surprise. The Astros won again. They beat the Royals 7-3. McCann homered, Gurriel homered, and the Houston Astros have won 11 consecutive games. The last time they lost was May 24th. Today is June 4th. Make it June 5th. So Carrera has a base hit.
Were they up 3-4-0 in that game too?
They were, actually. They were. So that's the first of a 4-game series
11,
in Kansas City.
Kevin Pillar.
And Axford just kind of pulls this one across the plate a little. Fegley wanted that ball away. Got it middle in, and Carrera able to turn on it.
So how about this? There are 7 teams in Major League Baseball that have winning records on the road. Astros obviously one of them. The Astros are 22-6 on the road. That is really hard to do. Heck, if you have a good year, you may be 4 or 5 games over 500 on the road, and then you win a bunch at home. Liam Hendricks starts to throw for the A's.
Yeah, maybe sometime this year they'll learn how to win at home, I guess.
Yeah. Well, they're awful at home. They're 20-10 at home. So it goes for the Houston Astros. Quite a story. So they have a comfortable 14-game lead. Wow. 42-16. Outside, 1-1 to Pilar. Angels are off today. They will be at Detroit tomorrow night. Mariners are also off. They will host Minnesota. Mariners playing well. They've won 7 out of 8. And the Rangers also off. They will host the Mets in a quick 2-game interleague series. Rangers going the other way. Rangers have lost 10 out of 12. Good pitch by Axford, right at the knees on the outside corner.
Good cut fastball from Axford. He has that breaking ball, a good fastball at mid-90s, and a little cutter. And that's it right there. Locating it down and away.
So ahead in the count with Donaldson waiting in the on-deck circle. Rolled over foul to the far end of the A's dugout. Pilar tonight has walked, hit a fly ball to the left, and doubled in a run. So he has knocked in a run and he has scored a run. Carrera's got good speed. Blue Jays are 8th in the American League in runs scored, so right in the middle of the pack. They're 5th in home runs, 11th in stolen bases, so probably have not fully hit their stride offensively. Carrera runs and the ball's foul back. Last year they finished 5th in the league in runs scored. It was 2015 when they were just juggernaut. I mean, they scored almost 900 runs, and that's very hard to do.
Well, you had, what, Donaldson, Bautista, and Encarnacion, and all 3 of them just went off.
Tough to duplicate scoring 891 runs. Carrera, see if he runs again. 1-2 the count. He's not running. Very close, just missed.
Axford trying to dot that outside corner. This ball just doesn't come back enough. Fegley tries to frame it. Just a few inches off.
Lowry ranging to his left, fires to second to get the out there. So the A's get the lead runner on a nice play by Lowry.
Enjoy your next day's home game in style by booking a watches.com suite today. Visit athletics.com/tickets to book your suite. And for all A's fans, receive 20% off your first order at watches.com by using code ATHLETICS.
2 away for Donaldson. Donaldson, an RBI double in the first, a walk in the third, a ground out to short in the fifth. Not a spot for Pilar to run, even though he does have 9 stolen bases. And let Donaldson hit here. A little bit outside. So that Astros-Royals game, that is the only American League game outside of this one being played tonight. In fact, it's a pretty light schedule on baseball. A handful of National League games. 1-1 the count. Outfield defense pretty straight away for Josh Donaldson. He's got power to all fields. Davis off the line a fair amount in left. There's a line drive into the glove of Trevor Plouffe, side retired. Runner left, 7th inning stretch coming up from the Coliseum. A's 5, Blue Jays 2. Versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, with the team that you've watched all season long. Papa, Saint, Helena, Roz, and our insider, Monty Poole. So that'll be game 3. And last night, all Warriors again. Mark, you were there, and you said it was quite a scene over at Oracle.
Well, I've never gone to an NBA Finals game, and I haven't been to a Warriors game. And the atmosphere last night, I mean, it's incredible. Yeah. It's like nothing I've ever experienced, and that was fun to do and be able to say you did.
That's right. Well, a little shift to Quicken Loans Arena in downtown Cleveland for games 3 and 4. Ryan Goins stays in at second base. Well, the Warriors up 2-0. The Warriors were up 2-0 last year as well, but I don't know why this feels different this year. Maybe Kevin Durant is here.
Yeah, that has something to do with it.
1-1 to Canna as Danny Barnes stays out there. Barnes got the final 2 outs in the 6th inning. 5-2 the A's lead. Floated down and in, 77 miles per hour. We just saw the Washington Nationals. They are in Los Angeles to open up a good series. A couple of very good teams, the Nats and the Dodgers. Nats are winning again. They lead LA 4-2 in the 8th. Good swing by Canna as he let it all hang out.
You said it, a good swing, goes right off the Rawlings logo, right on his chest. It's padded, but it still doesn't feel good.
Better be padded a lot. Two and two to Canna, who has struck out and fouled out. A little bit low, 3-2, so another full count. We got a bunch tonight.
And if you're Canna, you got to look something middle away. He's the third hitter now that Barnes has faced, and he hasn't thrown a single pitch inside.
That one's hit high and foul. It passed the A's dugout, or the Blue Jays dugout, excuse me. At the knee, strike 3 call.
Every Tuesday, the ballpark gates will open at 4:30 p.m., 1 hour earlier than usual for the remainder of the season to allow fans the opportunity to watch the A's take batting practice. Tuesdays also feature free parking at the ballpark as part of Chevy Free Parking Tuesday.
There's our guy. Hot dog with the works. Fegley pops it up. Smoke looks like he's going to have a play in foul territory, and he does. Smoke, very good defensive first baseman, grabs that one. So Fegley is 0 for 3, 2 away, and now to the top of the order, Rajay Davis.
Now batting center fielder, number 11, Rajay Davis.
So these two teams will have a night game tomorrow, then a day game on Thursday. And for the Blue Jays, they will have Thursday off in Seattle. So they got a full West Coast trip, 3 in Oakland, off day Thursday, and then 3 in Seattle over the weekend. These two teams will see each other again the end of July in Toronto for a 4-game series. Popped up. Out, Batista in, Goins has it, and that's a good inning for Danny Barnes. 3 up, 3 down, and we are moving to the 8th. It'll be Batista, Morales, and Smoke coming up.
Sutter Health invites kids 14 and under on the field after most Sunday home games to run the bases, the same bases that the players do. Presented by Sutter Health, proudly caring for Northern California, birthplace of pioneers.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Liam Hendriks comes in here for the 8th inning. The A's leading 5-2. Couple of wins for Hendriks. This is his 23rd appearance. 29 strikeouts in 23 2/3 innings. He'll face Bautista, Morales, and Smoke. So Bautista, a right-handed hitter, and then Morales and Smoke, both switch hitters. So you see the changes. Matt Joyce comes in the game in right field. Canna moves over to left. Chris Davis is out. And Bautista went around. Bautista is 0 for 3. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th inning. So Hendriks gets the 8th. Axford pitches the 7th inning, 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs with a strikeout. It would be a big boost to the A's bullpen if John Axford started getting on a little roll. Bautista got a fastball at 96 miles an hour. Hendriks with the Blue Jays for a while, so he and Bautista teammates. Another fastball and another foul. This one lined off the facing of the 2nd level.
As late as Bautista is on these fastballs, Hendriks has to be careful throwing a breaking ball here. You're only doing him a favor unless it's located down and away off the plate.
And that was a pretty good pitch.
Yep. As late as he is on these fastballs, he can't catch up. So if you hang a slider or you miss location, it's right into the bat speed.
Pitch, another breaking ball, and Bautista just got a piece of it. Liam Hendriks was with the Blue Jays in 2014. He was traded to Kansas City during that season, and then offseason was traded back to Toronto and had a good year in 2015 for the Blue Jays. There's a liner, point foot apply. So Trevor Plouffe. That's why it's the hot corner. He's had 2 shots at the last 2 Blue Jays hitters.
Well, a fastball in there, and he makes a good jumping play. Gets it right in the end of the glove, just enough hops. Look at him getting up. That ball's hit so hard, you don't really have time to get a full jump. You can see it's not like he really got that high off the ground. You don't have time.
So great play by Trevor Plouffe. Here's Kendrys Morales. Morales hitting left-handed for the first time tonight. He takes a strike. Morales, his splits this year as a right-handed hitter 311, as a left-handed hitter 252. 9 of his 11 home runs have come left-handed. They signed Kendrys Morales pretty early in the offseason, and they were still Encarnacion was still out there, but I almost got the feeling that they just felt like we're not going to be able to sign Encarnacion. Yep. We want to have somebody to take his place, and that's what Morales is. He's a DH. Encarnacion ended up maybe getting less money than a lot of people thought, but still a very nice contract with the Indians.
Well, this one comes up, and you can see it gets Jerry Davis again. I don't know if it got him in the forearm or in the, no, more in the abdomen area.
Jerry not having a great night. He's doing a good job calling balls and strikes, but getting beat up a little bit back there, which is no fun. Two now to Kenrys Morales, who has struck out twice and grounded out. So he's had a quiet night, the cleanup hitter.
But back to that Encarnacion thing. Lots of times, you know, towards the end of that season, I'm sure they had discussions. While he's still there, there's probably discussions, and they knew, okay, we're not going to be able to sign him, or we don't want to give him that many years or that amount of money.
And Morales chased a pitch well out of the strike zone. So Morales strikes out for the third time, and let's check back in with Angela.
Well, guys, I had a chance to chat with Liam Hendriks earlier in the clubhouse, and he showed me this shirt, as it is to help join, or he's joined 40 big leaguers to strike out poverty. And this is Liam's shirt, which is available at athletebrand.com and is available till June 14th. It's for the initiative Food for the Hungry, and all the proceeds go towards 9 vulnerable communities in the Dominican Republic. It's only on sale till June 14th, and Liam told me he's personally pledging $100 per strikeout and $200 for every walk on pledgeit.com/Liam Hendriks. So if you'd like to go support and get the shirt before June 14th, check it out. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks, Angela. So nice work by Liam Hendriks as he faces Justin Smoke. Smoke is 1 for 3. He singled back in the 4th inning. Big shift on for Smoke. And a good swing, fouled it straight back. I guess in the offseason it seemed like the Blue Jays were maybe going to have to either sign Encarnacion or Batista, but not both of them. I mean, they could have signed both of them, but maybe they just cost you a lot of money, and it ended up being Batista who stayed and Encarnacion left. That's Jeff Bellevue. Driven to left center. That's hit a ton, and that one is gone. Smoke having a great year. That's his 15th home run of the year, and now it's 5-3. So he goes the other way, and that's impressive.
Yeah, other way is the key. He's looking out over the plate. This ball up. Middle. And as much power as he has, and as good of a season as he's having, he drives this out to left center. It's a big boy home run going the other way.
So 5-3. And here's Tulowitzki. First pitch is a strike to Tulowitzki, who is 1 for 3 with a double. Slider and a good one. Not what Tulowitzki was looking for. Diego Casilla starts to warm up. Another slider, and Tulowitzki reached for it and trickles it foul toward the third base coach's box. Luis Rivera is the third base coach for the Blue Jays, and they're booing Luis Rivera. He was going to throw it into the seats, and he threw it very high, and it bounced on the dirt in front of the A's dugout. It did then bounce into the first row. into right field. Tulowitzki has a base hit. So Tulowitzki's 2 for 4 with a single and a double. And now the Jays will get the tying run to the plate here in the 8th inning. It'll be Russell Martin.
Well, not a bad pitch from Hendricks. It's down and away, but Tulo just goes with it. That's good hitting. You can see Alonso way off the bag and still not able to get there. Ball was hit hard enough that it got past him.
So here's Martin, who is 0 for 3. 5 home runs on the year for Russell Martin. Martin chops one foul, and he got a fastball. Looked like a pretty good pitch to hit. Couple of guys who spent a lot of time in the National League. Yonder Alonso and Troy Tulowitzki. Same division. Padres and the Rockies. Right there, strike 2 called. Martin could not pull the trigger.
Makes you think Russell Martin was looking for an off-speed pitch, looking for a slider. Couldn't pull the trigger on the fastball that he probably wishes he had that back.
Pitch, and he went around on a pitch in the dirt. So Liam Hendricks gets a couple of strikeouts. The Blue Jays do get a run on the Justin Smoak home run. 5-3 as we head to the bottom of the 8th.
Is brought to you by the 2017 Jeep Cherokee with an EPA estimated 30 highway miles per gallon. By Southwest, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. By AAA, what does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? It should do more. Go to AAA.com for more details. And by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica.
Game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 3-7-0 for the Blue Jays, 5-4-0 for the Athletics. Jay Happ went 5 1/3. Sean Manaea went 6. Another big game for Ryan Healy. Couple of home runs. He's got a 3-run homer. He's got a 2-run homer. So he has a 5 RBI game. A couple of hits for Yonder Alonso. So the A's 3 outs away from taking game 1 of this series. Jeff Bellevue is the new pitcher for the Blue Jays. He was just called up from the minor leagues today. And his first pitch to Pinder is outside. J.P. Howell, the left-handed reliever, was placed on the disabled list. The Blue Jays brought up Bellevue, another left-handed reliever. inside corner strike. 1-1 the count.
It's a tough pitch there for Pinder to get a strike call. That one really hasn't been called most of the night. Going back in.
Pinder rips it down the left field line, and that is fair. Just fair. Rattles around off the wall, and Pinder will have a leadoff double. Well, he tried to get in there, but Pinder dug it out.
Well, he learned on the first one. Little cut fastball inside. Pinder pulls his hands in, and that's hard. As far in as that ball is, it's hard to keep that fair. But you get your hands through, and that ball doesn't have as much hook on it. Fair by a couple feet.
So now the A's would love to get an insurance run as Lowry steps up. Lowry is 0 for 3. He has grounded out and hit a pair of fly balls to right field. Shows bunt, and the pitch is just a little bit low. Bellevue has been in the big leagues with a couple different teams. He's been in the big leagues with the Cubs briefly, and then up and down for 3 years with the Tampa Bay Rays. Made 30 appearances in 2014 for Tampa Bay. That's the most he has pitched in any one season in the big leagues. Right field, Batista's got the good arm, and bluffing his Pinder, he decides that would not be a great idea, and the throw tells us why. Batista has always had a terrific arm, and those kind of guys like to show it off a little bit.
Well, they like to show it off when they know the runner's not going to go.
Well, that's
Now batting right fielder.
It's always when it's the somewhat shallow one. Yeah, just I'm going to throw this as hard as I can. I'm going to throw it right on line to the third baseman. Kind of gets the crowd, especially at home. The crowd gives it that. Ooh.
you can like putting the gun back in the holster thing. You know, that. So here's Matt Joyce, who came in the game last inning. Chris Davis is out. We don't know if there's any medical reason why Chris Davis is out of the game. Joyce, a slider first strike.
And this was yesterday in the 9th. Brought the A's to within 1 run. Cleared the bases, a grand slam. Unfortunately, the A's, that was with 1 out. They weren't able to push any more across.
Oh, 1 pitch to Joyce. Fastball right there. So Joyce, that was his 7th home run of the year. So that's the thing with these. Even though Joyce, his batting average just 195, he's got 7 home runs. He's got 25 RBIs. That's not bad.
They all have the home runs.
Yes, they do. 0-2 pitch is hit toward first. Smoke stays down on it. So Joyce is out, and that's the 2nd out with Pinder going to 3rd. Well, we'll be back with you tomorrow for game 2 of this series between the A's and the Blue Jays. Marco Estrada will pitch for Toronto. He'll be looking for his 5th win of the year. And Jesse Hahn will come back. He's healthy, ready to go. Hahn 1-4 with a 3.81 ERA. Our coverage begins at 6 p.m. with A's pregame live. And remember, you can stream the A's on the go with NBCSportsCalifornia.com and the NBC Sports app. So here is Yonder Alonso. Alonso is 2 for 3, single, double, and a run score. Alonso has his batting average now at .305. It's a big deal for a hitter. Get over 300. Big swing and a miss on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball from Bellevue.
Well, not only is he hitting 305, but that on base is now at 400.
Yep. Not too shabby.
Yeah.
That's Jason Grilli, the veteran right-hander. If Alonso gets aboard, we may see Grilli to face Healy. 1-2 now. That was a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, but well placed. A little up and in. That's a tough pitch for any hitter to get to.
Yeah, it's the one you just can't seem to get your hands to. It's right above your hands, right above your swing. If it were up a little bit more, maybe tomahawk that pitch, but it's that in-between area just above the belt, below the letters.
So we'll see what Bellevue does here. I think they want a high fastball. And it was a high fastball, foul to our left. They're trying to stay warm up there. It's getting chilly. Usually starts to cool off about the 5th inning. Bellevue throws, and it's a slider that's blocked by Martin to even the count at 2-2. Casilla will get the 9th.
Well, the guy on third base, if you're going to bounce that breaking ball, you got to trust your catcher. First and foremost, and Russell Martin makes a nice block there.
Blue Jays will have Goins, Carrera, and Pilar, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. If any of them get on, Donaldson. Another high fastball, and Alonso fouls it straight back. The second baseman well out into right field. Tulowitzki to the right side of second base. Tapped over the mound. Tulowitzki handles the in-between hop. Throws to first, side retired. Pinder stranded. So the A's 3 outs away from a good win. See if Casilla can hold them down. So 5-3 game, 9th inning. Casilla, the closer, is in. And he's facing Ryan Goins. So Casilla, the 4th A's pitcher of the night. The first pitch is a fastball off the plate inside. Goins pinch hit in the 7th inning. There's the numbers for Casilla: 1 and 2, 4.66 ERA. He's got 8 saves. Adam Rosales is in the game at shortstop. Missed again inside. So Manayo went 6. Axford pitched the 7th. Hendricks pitched the 8th. And now Casilla here in the 9th. To a pitch right in there for a strike. Carrera, the left-handed hitter to follow, and then a right-handed hitting Kevin Pillar.
Well, like you said, you'd love to see Casilla have a clean inning here. Keep Donaldson from getting up to bat.
Yeah, that's the guy you do not want to see. Because if he comes up, he's going to be the tying run.
Yep.
2-2 now to Goins.
Just a check swing. Ball had a lot of movement. Started middle in, came back over the middle. Goins not able to pull the trigger.
Good breaking ball, and Goins chased it. Very sharp curveball by Casilla.
And time now for the Jeep drive of the game. None other than Ryan Healy. 2 home runs. He had 2 on Saturday, 2 tonight. Fastball in right here, getting his hands inside. 2 more great swings from the hot Ryan Healy.
Been quite a ball game for Ryan Healy. So here's Carrera. Carrera bunts at it, missed it, and it's a strike. How about this? Last time the A's scored at least 5 runs in a win, and all the runs were driven in by a single player, was back in 2004. Arubio Durazo. And your winning pitcher, thank you very much, was Mark Mulder. Remember that?
How'd I go 8 innings with no strikeouts?
No punchies. Didn't need them.
Must have been a big ground ball night.
You didn't have your strikeout stuff, but you had a Rubio Durazo that night. One and 1 the count. Carrera is 1 for 2. He missed the bunt. No, he did not. Rob Drake says no.
Wow, watching that, I actually thought he tried to bunt this ball.
I think that's a strike. I mean, he pulled the bat back, but if you watch,
he didn't decide until way too late to not bunt that ball.
He pulled it back after he missed it. And that one is low, and now it's 3-1. That's a close pitch. A's pitchers have struck out 11 Blue Jay hitters tonight. See how close that one is? It's a little low. Garcia needs to throw a strike. 3-1. Here it is. And that is a strike. So a full count with Kevin Pillar waiting in the on-deck circle. So we've had 14 full counts tonight. Feels like a little bit more.
A lot of long at bats.
Pitch, here it is. It's hit high and foul. Close pitch, may have been a high strike. Rajay Davis shifted well into left center field. Canna playing shallow and left. Carrera likes to slap the ball that way. Pitch, he walked it. So that'll bring up Pilar. Fourth walk by A's pitchers tonight.
Now batting, number 11, Kevin Pilar.
So Pilar steps up. He's walked and scored. He's hit a fly ball to left. He's doubled in a run, and he has reached on a fielder's choice. So he's been on base 3 times. Donaldson waits in the on-deck circle. Hit hard, backhanded by Plouffe. He fires to second out there, and what a play by Trevor Plouffe. Well, you start imagining what happens if he does not make that play.
Yeah, he's able to glove this and takes his time, gets to his feet, and Lowry does a great job. He becomes a first baseman. Get the out at second base. Get one out. You can't try to just pick this and try to turn 2. Not that you would have done it anyway, but you got to get one. Plouffe got up, kind of slung it over their sidearm. Short hopped Lowry, but able to dig it out and get that out.
That's a good play on both ends. You're right, Lowry. Little stretch, but you have to pick a short hop as well. So here's Donaldson. 2 outs. He's the tying run. First pitch, Donaldson swing and a miss. So stay tuned after the game for A's Post Game Live, presented by State Farm. Brody, Shooty, and Jose standing by. And that one blocked nicely by Fegley as it rolls out in front. 1-1 the count.
Well, this one spikes short of the plate, and then it takes a high hop, comes underneath the mask of Fegley, gets him on the padding just enough. Just rolls under the mask a little, but able to keep it in front. Keep Pilar at first.
Donaldson takes a strike in the outside corner.
Good movement on this fastball away. You can see the late life. That's just those last couple feet, the last 5 feet. That's the difference between ball and strike.
So 1-2. Donaldson is going to make Casilla wait just a little bit. Sets up inside, swing and a miss. He struck him out, and that's the ball game. So Santiago Casilla strikes out Josh Donaldson. He was representing the tying run, and the A's get a nice win in Game 1 of this 3-game series. And there's your hitting hero, Ryan Healy. A couple of home runs tonight. He knocked in all 5 runs. So the A's win it tonight. It took 3 hours and 5 minutes. Paid attendance 12,890. Final score: the Oakland Athletics 5 and the Toronto Blue Jays 3. A's Post Game Live, presented by State Farm, is set to go. Brody, Shooty, and Jose. It's all yours.